3 things landlords need to do to make happier tenants. That sounds lovely, but it's vital for landlords to know this, not just for compliance, but also for good practice as well, because a happy tenant means more reliable rent and a better looked after property. And all of those things make a happier landlord. The first thing is communication. You've got to be easy to reach. I would recommend setting up a WhatsApp group between you and your tenant, maybe include contractors in that so that you can share information and you can communicate easily. Maybe also set yourself notifications that remind you to check in with your tenant, maybe just a couple of times a year, but it's a nice thing to do. But from a compliance perspective, I would record everything, all of your communication with tenants. I would confirm everything you discuss with your tenants in writing, and throughout all of your communications, stay objective. The second thing you can do is maintenance. You should acknowledge any issues immediately. If your tenant reports a maintenance request or a repair request, something like that, acknowledge it straight away. And then set expectations. Give your tenant an estimated time frame and then update them regularly. Every single day if you have to. Even if nothing has changed or nothing can be done just yet, update your tenant. There's nothing worse than not knowing what's going on, and this is always important to the tenant. It's their home, it's their family, it's their life. So update them regularly no matter what. Also, from a compliance perspective, you must, as a landlord, resolve issues in a reasonable time. You should also vet your contractors. This is really important. Your contractors must have the right insurance and the right accreditations and the right qualifications. So many landlords get this bit wrong because they just ask the contractor, "Are you legally qualified to do this?" And if the answer is yes, oh, okay, great, let's go for it. But this is serious because you will be liable. You also have to know your liability, know what you should be liable for and what the tenant should be liable for. And in all instances, you must make sure that your property meets the Housing Health and Safety Rating System. I have put together a guide. It's called 29 Ways to Kill Your Tenant. Sounds fun, but it is a complete guide which shows all of the components of the HHSRS, which is a serious piece of regulation for landlords. The third thing that landlords can do to keep happier tenants is privacy. You should let your tenants live. Let them live in their home. Yes, it's your property, but it's their home. Respect that. Don't judge them. The way they live is the way they live. It shouldn't affect you. It's nothing to do with you. If they're a bit untidy, not your problem. Just let them live and don't judge. And never just turn up. It would be horrible if your mortgage lender just turned up at your house and wanted to have a look around without any announcement. So make sure you don't just turn up. Respect their privacy. But from a compliance perspective, you've got to give notice to enter. And if the tenant says no, you cannot come into the property, that's it. That is their right. You cannot enter the property without the tenant's permission, unless there's an emergency. But you would have to justify that. The tenant is entitled to peaceful enjoyment, which means you can't harass them. Even if their rent is late, you can't go round knocking the door every 5 minutes. You can't harass them. You can't do anything like that, especially with breathing space laws now in place. But in all of those instances, if the tenant is refusing access to the property, record all of your attempts to get into the property, to give the tenant notice, to ask the tenant for access. Record it all. And if you want that guide, the 29 Ways to Kill Your Tenant, I'll put a link below somewhere as well, or you can email me, tom@soanegroup.co.uk, and I'll just send you the PDF. All right, hope that helps. Speak soon.